still concerned that Treasury does not appreciate the importance of this issue. We're at a 37-year high rate of foreclosures in this country, a 10-year low on housing starts. This is a very serious issue. And as a result of some of the loans that went out between 2004 and 2006, those resets could occur here in the coming months that could push monthly payments up from $400 a month to as much as $1,500 a month if people in the typical subprime mortgage loan went out with teaser rates here. That could really push people out of their homes. And so I urge the administration here to continue doing everything necessary to see to it that people can keep their homes. We may have as many as 1 million to 3 million people who could lose their homes, not because they lost their jobs, not because the economy collapsed, but because they got bad deals on mortgages. The Fed is moving on this. We have HOPA legislation, which passed in 1994, which mandated that the Fed assume responsibility of dealing with deceptive and fraudulent practices. I have been critical of the Fed for not acting, particularly when we know that 3.5 years ago, Fed staff was becoming aware of this emerging problem. They tell me they're going to have these regulations in place by this fall. If that's the case and they're moving, then I'm satisfied that that's going to be done. But I'm also simultaneously going to be looking at the possibility of legislating in this area. But I don't want to make it more confusing. We need to look at credit rating agencies, in my view, as well, and what can be done to make them more transparent so that they will not be so far off the mark in assessing the creditworthiness of financial instruments as they have been. These ratings were way, way off, and obviously there's an inherent problem. If the agencies are being paid by the very people they're rating, you have some legitimate underlying questions of how reliable those ratings can be. So it's clearly an issue that has got to be looked at carefully, and we intend to go. The Fed was charged 13 years ago with adopting regulations. It wasn't a request of them, it was a mandate of them to do so. And so in a sense, the power exists there for them to do what we'd be doing with legislation, I assume, anyway. But this is the first administration that's accumulated as much debt as all 42 previous administrations throughout history. So sort of a problem of their own making. But I don't have an answer for you on the GDP impact. Yeah. The brokers out there that are going, never making clear for whom the fiduciary relationship exists. It's the borrower, the lender, poses some serious issues, and obviously the underlying problems of getting paid based on how high a rate they can charge the subprime borrower, the prepayment penalty issues that don't apply in prime loans. All of these issues are ones that clearly need to be corrected. And my hope is, here we're watching it carefully, that the Fed will be moving very specifically in the regulatory area to deal with this. But I'm not going to give up the statutory responsibility in the process here. So we're watching both on sort of a dual track.